few weeks ago that I was really missing competing, and I was like, how can I compete without actually going out of the yard? And we came up with this. So I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of like online dressage competitions and stuff have been going around. A few of my friends had done some, so I was like, you know what? Rita and I have never done a dressage test in our lives. When I first got her, her flat work was really bad. Like, she just would not work in a contact. She'd just go around like a giraffe the whole time. So it's been a lot of work, like the last 2 years that I've had her, trying to get her flat work up to scratch, but it's now at a point where I felt confident in actually submitting a dressage test, whereas like last year I definitely wouldn't have. So I thought I'd give it a go. We have entered an event on horse events. It's just like Google horse events, and they have loads of different events like showing classes, dressage classes, I think there was a jumping one. I'm not sure quite how you do that. I don't think I'd have enough poles to do that, but yeah. So there's plenty of them, and I found the dressage section and there were loads of different tests to choose from. I think there were 7 or 8, starting from like walk, trot to whatever the fancy ones are. And we went slap bang in the middle and we did a B90 test. So I don't know what that is in dressage terms, but walk, trot, canter, we did a bit of circling, all that fun stuff. So here in this video you get to watch my test, see what I did to prepare before my test, basically just do some drawing and clean Rita, and we cracked on. Okay, so I started off by finding the test that I was going to be doing online, which is the B96. Sorry, I'm looking this way as well because I'm watching myself do it. And then I found this piece of paper which has all the instructions on for each dressage move, but I'm quite a visual learner, so I found that drawing out my own diagrams, as you can see there, is much easier for me to A, learn the test, and B, to help mum know when she needs to read the next instruction, because otherwise it's just like kind of loads of letters and words saying trot and canter. So once I'd done that, I went to the yard and I started off by cleaning Rita. This is just a mitt and a coat sheen spray, which makes it look like you've cleaned them when you actually really haven't. You just wipe it over them, makes them pretty. And then we tacked up, and of course using a white number because we're at a show. And for anyone that wants to know, my saddle is a Kentner Masters jump saddle, so not ideal for dressaging, but we make do with what we have. And then I use a drop noseband bridle on Rita. This one's from Authentic Equestrian. I've got a bit of a hiccup there. She goes really nicely in this bridle, she accepts the contact really well, so we use this one for flat work. And she tried to walk off, lovely. And then I cleaned my boots because they were filthy, although in the end it didn't really matter because when we got to the yard and had to go up to the arena to set up the dressage like size, it needed to be 20 by 40 and our arena is 20 by 60, so we had to kind of map out a smaller arena. So we ended up walking around the arena loads in my boots and made them filthy, so that cleaning was a bit pointless. So we're about to get into the test now. I've just quickly paused it so I can ramble this bit off. So I thought that your dressage test had to be filmed from one point and you couldn't move, so we had to back up literally like 12 feet to fit the whole arena in, which is why everything looked really far away, because I then realised that you actually don't have to do this. You can stand just at sea and move with the horse because you've got to keep the horse in the video at all times. So that's why it all looks a bit far away. The dressage judge did comment that she said, please use camera zoom next time, it was hard to see, far end. I was like, oh, whoops. So that's why everything looks a bit far away. I have zoomed it in a little bit so you can see a bit better, but that is that. And then I did a little poll on Instagram, and out of I think like 150, 200 people, the average score that you guys guessed that I got was 33.3. So I'm not going to tell you my score just yet. Have a watch through the test and then leave a guess in the comments, or maybe do it now because I'm about to read off the scores that I got. Have a little guess below, see what you think I scored on this test. So we're going to get into it now. I'm going to have to watch it down there, so I'm not going to be looking at you guys, I'm afraid, sorry about that. So here she goes, trotting down the centre line. Straightness isn't one of Rita's best qualities. She does like to drift, and as you can see here, she's like drifted over to the right. So our first centre line got a 7, which I think is fair enough, pretty fair mark. And then this next working trot from MBF also gets a 7. We get quite a lot of comments in general, like from instructors, that our trot and canter need to just be a bit more like lively. Sometimes where I'm trying to get her so steady because she's really crazy, I let her drop too slow and it's just not active enough. So I agree that probably 7 is a fair mark there. And then we go to the first of the serpentines, where I show that I have an inability to change my diagonal at X. Is it X? The middle, let's call it the middle. as you can see, I'm not dressage. So this serpentine got a 7, which I thought was very lovely of them. And we're about to pick up canter here, I believe. Yep, and this canter, right, that transition got a 7. It said fairly fluent, which I thought was quite nice. And then we do this circle here, which actually got a 6. Oh, a 6, so this was our lowest mark, but as you'll see in a second, she does do a flying change with her back legs, just here. Lovely, Rita, that was really classy. Which obviously dropped us a mark, and she said that she was a bit through her left shoulder, which is hence the 6 mark. To be honest, I thought it would get less than that because of the change, but a 6, we'll take a 6, I think that's pretty fair. And then we had working trot to F, which got another 7, and then she's about to do a medium walk, which I quite like Rita's walk. She tends to stretch out quite nicely when you give her a head, as you can see. Like, you don't really have to do anything, she just sort of stretches down, and that got another 7. But the problem is, as you see there, when you gather her back up, she gets a little bit excited and sometimes fights the contact on the upwards transition. So that transition there got a 6.5, and she said a little unsteady to contact, which I totally agree with. And then we go and we do the other serpentine, and we see my extra ability not to change my diagonal on the right spot again. I don't know if I get marked on that. I'm assuming that comes in the bottom bit where it says about rider, I would have thought, which is extra marks. Or I'm so not dressage, I don't know what I'm talking about. So that transition, that serpentine there got a 7, and she picked up canter here, which got another 7. Queen of 7s, what can I say? And then we do another circle. This circle was a bit better, not much better, it was half a mark better because we got a 6.5. The judge said that she hollowed at times. Yeah, she does, yeah, as you can see there, she's sort of trying to resist against the contact. So 6.5, yep, fair enough. And then the transition back to trot just there got another 7. I really liked how she went down in that transition. She was very obedient, which is nice, because chestnut mares aren't always obedient. And then we do the last bit, which is a trot across the diagonal, which got another 7. And she comes down the centre line in a second. Also, this is probably the right time to say, well, I've got a minute, that we filmed this test twice. This is the second bit. The first time she did a flying change, and I was like, that looks really, really bad. So we just started again. And then she got a 6.5 for her halt, but as you can see at the end there, her bum like tweaks over. So the judge said that her quarters moved left, which they did. So overall, and then we've got the little marks below. I can't read them, they're so small. She said she got a 7 for her paces, 7 for her impulsion, which I thought would be less, because as I said, she's not always the most like active in moving forward. Submission, which is attention and confidence, harmony, lightness of ease, blah blah blah, got a 6.5, which is probably a result of like her hollowing and being a little bit resistant to the contact. And I got a 7 for my ridering. Go me. So yeah, a test of a lot of 7s, but the judge was really nice. She left a really lovely comment saying, super horse, a promising combination with lots to like, now develop consistency and connection of the outline, which I thought was like a really good comment. So I've been trying to do that recently. We've been practicing a lot of transitions up and down, and definitely our straightness on our centre lines, because as you can see there with her moving her bum over, it means that we're obviously losing marks where we don't want to lose them. So it was actually really interesting for me. I think this test cost £7 to have marked, which is a little bit on the pricey side, I think, considering it's all online and literally all you're doing is submitting a video. However, I think it's really valuable for someone like me that's never actually done a dressage test to see how I would do. So going forward, I might go out, maybe try some eventing. You never know, once Corona's gone, I could be out on that dressage field. But yeah, very good. So I really recommend that you guys go check this out if you're not able to leave your yard during lockdown. It was super easy to film. You literally just go online, you book your test, it tells you which test you're going to be doing. Look it up, do it, film it, send it, and you never know, you might get a few tips that are really, really valuable. So I really, oh, I forgot to tell my score. So my score in the end was 68.5%, which works out at 31.5. So you guys guessed that I would be 33.3, so I beat what you thought I was going to get. To be honest, for a first test, 31.5, I was not expecting that at all. I thought it would be closer to 35, maybe 36 because of the mistakes and me not being able to change my diagonal when I meant to. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. If I got that out on a day of eventing, I'd be absolutely smiling. I could have been eliminated cross country and I'd still be happy with a 31.5. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a totally different kind of video, show jumpers going dressage. But yeah, it went quite well. Maybe we'll do another one. Everyone keeps telling me to do a harder test, but this was hard enough. I couldn't remember this many movements, honestly.